Welcome back to Foundation 21. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to be thinking about life after death. Well, life after life. And heaven and hope. As with the other concepts we've considered in Foundation 21, this one gets people talking. With lots of different opinions and perspectives, and it continues to be controversial. And there are good reasons for this. Not least that few people claim to be able to tell us exactly whether there is life after our physical death, although there is wide research on the validity of out-of-body and near-death experiences for sure. We accept the belief in life after death as an act of faith. It also presumes that humans are primarily eternal and spiritual beings, rather than being limited to a body that slowly deteriorates over 80 or so years until it finally stops working. Most of us would concede that it's an unknown area. You will also have already noticed that I've titled this Heaven and Hope, not Heaven and Hell, and there's a reason for this. The issue of hell, whether there's such a place or how can a loving God send people there, is always a favourite of devout atheists and others who have little interest in honestly finding out about the Christian faith or developing themselves for the better by exploring it. And discussion of hell always seems to degenerate into a point-scoring waste of time when there's so much more to consider that's of immense personal value to the serious inquirer. Foundation 21 isn't about scoring points or winning an argument. It's about how positively responding to the Christian faith can produce deep and lifelong personal change for the better. Okay, so let's think about heaven then. The concept of heaven addresses several important emotional and spiritual human needs. And the Christian faith invites us to choose to believe in a life after life that is free from injustice, hate, retribution and bitterness. Heaven is a place, if you can call it that, an environment, an ideal home of peace and joy, where a benevolent God pours out his love, uninhibited by any human reluctance to receive it. Looking forward to being in heaven is likely to profoundly affect our personal happiness now, here in our day-to-day lives, in providing us with a liberating hope of a life without the debilitating constraints and unhappinesses of today's world. Heaven is also a place of freedom from the fear of death. Death terrifies people. Jesus taught that we are first and foremost spiritual creatures and will one day leave behind our old physical bodies and go to be in heaven, a timeless, idyllic place where there's no death, grief or pain, where we are fully accepted, freed from human prejudice, and will live in the conscious presence of God forever. Any negative experiences we may have had on earth are gone, only good remains. And heaven is a place free of injustice. Injustice is a stain on the history of humanity, and it continues to be so. Heaven is a place where that stain is removed, where we're not taunted by injustice. In heaven, justice has been done, and been seen to be done. A loving and fair God has ruled on the injustices of the world to everyone's deep satisfaction. In heaven, injustice is sorted, and we're no longer concerned. So with injustice out of the way, heaven becomes a place of joy, love and deep peace. Aggression is no more, along with deceit, anger, poverty and illness. In heaven, there will be nothing that can cause these, significantly different from what we have now. Heaven is a place where there is a clear awareness of who is in charge, a benevolent, all-loving and all-powerful God who people like you and me cannot help but love. He just draws love and adoration from the people in heaven. Worshipping him is the most natural and deeply satisfying thing to do. The things people fuss over this side of death become strangely irrelevant on that side of death. With all that established, ready and waiting, the concept of heaven gives us a stunning outcome to look forward to. For the millions of people who are committed to discovering more of God's love for them, heaven is the ultimate, An escape destination really worth escaping to. A place where they will be rewarded for what they've done, for how they've added value to the world, and forgiven for what they've done that's harmed it or not done. People comment about being bored in heaven, or of not wanting to be there because they remember those who have opted out of being in heaven for some reason. But heaven is way bigger and way beyond that. When Jesus talked to his disciples about it, he gave heaven a sort of tailor-made feel, where each individual's needs and wants are carefully catered for, and where our current priorities are no longer of any relevance, replaced by new thinking, new outlooks, and new, well, pretty much everything. There are a million different questions that remain unanswered about heaven. Until we get there, wherever there is, we can wonder about it to our heart's content and will have comparatively few answers. But the essence of heaven is that it's an ultimately good mystery and is being prepared for anyone and everyone who truly wants to be with their Creator forever and wants to have him in charge.